What is up, guys? My name is Lex, back at it here, Casino Dania Beach for a 5, 10, 25 vlog. I now have around 10 interesting hands for you guys that I'm going to go over. First one, there's a limp for $25. I raised to $125 on the button with pocket jacks. Small blind makes to call, and limper makes to call. We're going three ways here to 9, 3, deuce, all hearts. Flopping an overpair on this board. When it checks to me, I bet out for $500. Small blind folds, but the limper makes to call. Heads up now to the turn 5. He checks over to me. I bet out $1,000. Just going to go for 3 streets up against a hand like 9x, maybe a hand like pocket 8s, pocket 7s, maybe pocket 10s. He makes a call for 1K, leaving himself with around $2,000 remaining. Final card is a safe one. It's an offsuit 2. He checks over to me. I'm going to go for it here and try to get the max from those one pair hands that I'm beating. I put him all in for $2,000. He thinks for about 30 seconds and calls. I show the jacks and they are good. Good enough to win here over a $6,500 pot. First hand around 30 minutes into this game, and we're already up around $3,000. Remember, guys, the first monthly meetup game will be probably about a day or two after you're watching this video. Thursday, November 20th. It's going to be a 5-5 game, $1,000 max buy-in, $300 minimum buy-in. Just show up anytime after 6 o'clock, get your name on the list, and we'll get you on the table. It is open to the public. Anybody can show up. You don't have to call ahead. You can just show up to the casino ready to play. Hope to see you guys there. There's a raise from early position, a couple callers. I call in the small blind with 7-8 suited flop. Huge. 3, 5, 6, 2 hearts. Straight draw and flush draw for me. Could lead out. I decide to check. Maybe looking at check raise depending on who bets. Initial raiser checks. It checks all the way here to the cutoff. Who puts out a $300 bet. Maybe he's stabbing light. Maybe he just has a single pair of hands. So I'm going to play this hand aggressively and fast. When the button folds, I decide to raise it up here to $1,000. Back over now to the cutoff. He looks over at the chip and says, "Is that a raise?" And the dealer says yes. He says, "I'm all in." Goes all in for $2,400. Not going to fold this hand. I make the call. Big pot brewing around $5,000 in the middle. I need a heart or a straight. Let's see if we can get there. Over $5,000 in the middle, looking to get lucky. Turn card pairs to board. Terrible for me. Could be drawing dead. River card gives me top pair. Maybe it's good. No, it's not. He flopped a straight with 3-4 offsuit, and yeah, all that profit that we made on the first hand with pocket jacks is gone away now to the cutoff. I'm excited for this meetup game. Hope you guys are too. Actually, I'm doing something pretty fun. The first 20 players to get to the casino and sit down at a table will get 1 free drink courtesy of me. So if you guys want to get a free drink, show up early, get yourself a seat, and you'll get a free beer, wine, liquor, whatever you guys want. Next hand here, I've got pocket queens. There's a couple limps to me. I make it $175. I end up getting 5 callers, so we're going 6 ways to the flop with pocket queens. Now, the equity here, 6 ways with pocket queens is not good. I'm not going to win this hand very often, so I kind of, prepare myself mentally until the board comes out queen 7-8, top set for me. Pretty good. Now, if I was heads up or even just 3 ways, I may tend to slow play this, but so multi-way, there's still some straight draws, some lower sets, and 2 pairs. I'm just going to bet my hand with top set here. I make it $600 to go. I end up getting 2 callers for $600, so now we have narrowed the field down to 3 people. 3 ways now to a turn card offsuit 10. Checks over to me. I should be betting this card probably 100% of the time. It does bring in 2 straights, 9-6 and Jack 9, but it also could improve my opponent's 2 pairs now, could improve them to 2 pairs, second pair. So I think I should be betting here probably something like $1,000, but for some reason I decided to check my top set. And the river card's an offsuit 6. Nasty run out 1-liner now to any 9 will make a straight. A middle position player now leads into me for $1,300 with another player behind. I just don't think he's ever bluffing here. I don't think he's betting 2 pairs for this sizing when there's a 1-liner to a straight. I just think he got there something like 8-9, 7-9, pocket 9s, 10-9. Sucks, but I decided to fold my top set. Other player calls, so I get to see a showdown. A middle position player has Jack 9. He turned the nut straight. Wow. I was kind of sensing that the turn was not good for me, and yeah, it's a good thing I did not bet that turn. It would have cost me a ton of money. All right, queens didn't work for me, so let's try one hand lower, pocket jacks. There's a raise to $100, a 3-bet to $325. I decide to cold 4-bet out of the small blind at $1,300, and both of my opponents make the call. So just like that, almost $4,000 in the middle to queen 10-7, 2 clubs. Not my favorite board. A queen will beat us. Pocket 10s, pocket 7s now beat us. So I check, and the action checks all the way around. Turn card is a queen. I think this is a good card. After my opponents don't bet the flop, after I check to them, I don't think they have a queen. Probably don't have a set of 10s or set of 7s. So I bet out now for $2,000 for protection and also some value. Trying to get value from a 10, straight draws, flush draws, and no value for me. But we do end up taking down this pot, around $2,600 of profit in this hand. Seems like all I'm playing this vlog is premiums, a little unlike me. Ace-King offsuit this time, there's a raise to $100, a re-raise to $300 by the player to my right. I'm just going to cold 4-bet again. I make it $1,200. This is a pretty big sizing in position, but against players who don't like to fold, I decide to go a little bit bigger, given the fact that they seem to want to see some flops. Back now to the initial raiser for $100, and he cold calls $1,200. Okay, all right. Seems that $1,200 is not enough to get a fold. Now back over to the opponent to my right, who re-raised to $300 initially. He's got around $6,000 in his stack. He's thinking, looking at his chips, looking at my chips, and announces all in. I look over at the player who called $1,200. It looks like he's got around $8,000. Not going to fold here with ace-king, so I announce all in as well. Other player folds, and just like that, we are playing around a $13,000 pot with ace-king offsuit. Other player folds. Player to my right is in the game for around $20,000 and says if he loses this, he's going home, and announces he's got pocket queens. Ace-king versus queens, a classic race. Going to run out this one time. Let's see if we can get there.
Once again, because I made that comment. The classic. The classic. Do it. All right.
No ace, no king for me, no straight, no flush. My opponent holds here with pocket queens to win over a $13,000 pot, and we lose $6,000 in this hand. I've been playing pretty crazy, pretty wild in some past vlogs. So far this vlog, I think I played pretty solid. So yeah, let's change that. There's a raise to $100, a couple calls to make it $1,000 with 5-4 suited in the small blind. Back now to the initial raiser who puts in a 4-bet. He makes it $3,200 to go, with around $6,000 remaining. This player gives a lot of action. He's one of my favorite players to play against, so I think this is kind of a win-win situation for me. If I call here and stack him, I win the money. If I call here and lose, well, the money will go over to someone who's going to be playing a lot of hands, which is also good for the game. So I make the call for $3,000 and flop bottom pair on 9-5-8. That's good enough for me. I announce all in for $6,000 and get snap called. One time here, he tells me he's got aces. Yeah, this is not good until the river card is a 4, giving me 2 pair.
Oh my God.
Wow. There are 4 hearts on the board, but my opponent has aces with no heart. That means $20,000 pot is being shipped our way. It's been a pretty wild session so far for me. Up, down, up, down, up, down. And now after this pot, I believe I'm actually up around $3,000. A few hands later, actually one orbit later, I call a raise for $150 with Jack 10 offsuit in the small blind. Go 3 ways to 10-9-4. I decide to lead out with my top pair for $300, and I get one caller. Turn card 5, I bet $1,000, and I get a call one more time. River card's a 9. I think it's best to check here, allow him to potentially bluff hands like queen jack, king queen, and also maybe pot control if he does have a 9. But he checks back, I show the jack 10, and it's good. It's now around an hour after those hands that I just played, card dead for a while, until I pick up pocket 10s. I make it $200 pre-flop and get 3 callers. 4 ways now, around $800 in the middle to king 10-4, 2 clubs. Best case scenario, I have middle set. Someone can have a king here, straight draws and flush draws. I decide to bet over the pot. I make it $1,000, and I just get 1 caller. Turn card offsuit 8. This is the same guy I cracked with 5-4 offsuit when he had pocket aces. Maybe he's steaming. I'm going to go big again, targeting those king X hands, straight draws and flush draws. I make it $3,000. He thinks and folds queen jack offsuit face up. Maybe I just went a little bit too big, maybe a little bit too greedy, but can't complain when the chips are being pushed in your direction. After all these hours, all these pots won and lost, I'm actually even. I've got nothing to show for until I get dealt in jack 10 suited. What a beautiful hand. I make it $200, small blind and big blind call. 8, 9, 2, 2 hearts, open-ended, straight, and flush draw. Huge flop for me. $400 to go, small blind calls, big blind calls, and the turn cards and offsuit 6. Now, this is kind of close between betting and checking, and I think this card could improve my opponents. I don't really want to face a big check raise, so I decided to take the free card here and check back, and I'm glad I do. River 5 of hearts giving me a jack high flush. Small blind now checks, big blind now checks, and I'm going to bet my flush. I make it $2,000 to go. Now small blind player does something I was not expecting. He makes a one-chip raise to $5,000. Non-paired board, jack high flush. I don't think I'm ever folding for $3K more, so I put in the call, and it's a bad beat. Queen high flush by my opponent up against jack high flush for me, and we lose over $5,500 in this hand. With just a few orbits left in the night, we decide to bump up the game, 25, 50, 100. There's 2 calls to me. I make it $1,000 in the small blind with ace-king offsuit. Now, big blind player who's had a pretty rough night. He's in the game for over $25,000, and he only has around 4K remaining. He jams all in for his last $4,000. What am I going to do with ace-king offsuit? $4,000? I can never fold, so I make the call. He says he has ace-king as well, so it looks like we're going to probably chop this one up.
He got that spade. Spade.
Wow, that's disgusting.
That's so sick.
We're going to chop a lot of the time, but not this time. 4 spades on the board. I have the ace of spades with the nuts to win over an $8,000 pot with just a few hands left on the night. That was a nasty one. It was an up and down session, winning, losing, in the game for a ton, end up profiting $1,000, end up racking up my chips, heading to the cage, and heading out for the night. All right, guys, that is it for this one. The video you guys just watched happened a few days ago. I'm actually heading to the gym now and have a game later today. Big announcement, meetup game November 20th, Thursday. Should just be like 1 or 2 days after this video is posted. 6 p.m., first 20 people that show up get a free drink. And also, something that's really exciting is that the house, the casino, will only be charging $5 max rake in this game, which means this is by far the cheapest rake you'll find in the Florida area. I mean, there's no other casino that's taking $5 max rake in a 5-5 game where you could buy in for $1,000, $300 minimum. Let's say you play a $600 pot and you stack somebody, the house is only going to take $5. Compare that to other casinos in the area that would take $9. So it's a huge difference. It's like half as much rake out of the big hands you're playing, which I don't think a lot of people realize that rake is a huge contributor to win rates and losing rates. So massive deal, $5 max rake, Thursday, November 20th. If you're in the area, come check it out. As for the session, ended up winning $1,000. It was definitely up and down. I do want to kind of talk a little bit about my play style. My play style has definitely changed over the years. I started out playing in this vlog, doing this vlog, playing 2-5 no limit, 5-10. I felt like I was pretty ABC poker, pretty tight. Definitely nitty too. You know, there was times where I was really nitty. I was really scared money when I was playing in Texas and maybe playing on some live streams, but I've tried to get better. I've tried to learn from people. I've tried to improve my game. And I think I've slowly kind of become more of a loose aggressive player instead of a tight aggressive player. Depending on what games you're in, loose aggressive is most likely the most winningest strategy. Look at someone like Mariano. Look at someone like Garrett Adelstein. Look at someone like Andrew Roble. They have like more loose aggressive play styles. So I'm trying to emulate a little bit of that play style, and also I'm trying to create a fun, friendly, entertaining action environment in my games. I only play my game now. I don't ever play at any other casinos. I don't play any other games. I just play my game however many times it runs throughout the week. So for me, I'm trying to make this game the best game in the area. And as the host, I feel like I have somewhat of an obligation to do what I want other people to do. I don't want my game to be very nitty. I don't want my game to be very passive where nobody is raising. I want my game to be action-packed. I want it to be friendly. I want it to be fun. I want people to feel like even if they're stuck a bunch of money, they can always get it back. There's always an opportunity to get your money back. There's always an opportunity to play a $20,000, $30,000 pot and get even on the night or get up. And as the host, I don't want to just be sitting there nut peddling, waiting. So in poker, I believe if you want to try to make real money in poker, you have to find a way to give value. If you want to grind out a living at 2.5 and 5.10, you don't have to give any value really to the game. You can just sit there and just play your game. I believe that in the higher stakes, in the higher realm, when it comes to private games, when it comes to live stream games, you have to find a way to give value back to the game. Either that is by being entertaining, maybe that's by being social, maybe that's by playing a lot of hands, by being good for the game. So for me, I'm trying to give back to the game by doing plays that are not technically plus EV. I'm trying to give back to the game by doing plays that are gambling so that I can give people opportunities to get unstuck on the night or to win or have a big session. So like, for example, the hand I played where I raised 5-4 suited to $1,000 called a 4-bet out of position. Of course, it's a terrible play pre-flop. I should never be putting in a third of this person's stack with 5 high, but I'm gambling, I'm trying to get in there, and as you saw, sometimes it pays off. A lot of the time it doesn't, and I get stuck, $10,000. But an example that I've thought of is that I used to play a lot of hours at Bellagio 510 when I was in Vegas. I probably have like 800 or 1,000 hours, maybe more, at Bellagio 510 over the last 5 years. And I noticed that this game, I don't know about anymore, but the Bellagio 510 was some of the tightest, nittiest, worst games that I had ever played. And I believe that this all stems from the pros who were playing in the game. Every time I sat in that game, it was just everyone looking at their phone. They were watching something on their phone. They were like, some dudes had fucking computers at the table watching movies and stuff. And it just made the game so tight, so nitty. Nobody really wanted to do anything. And I remembered sitting down at a 5-10 table and I'm like, this is horrific. No one's talking, nobody's straddling, there's no bluffs, there's nothing going on. And there would be a few recreational players that would sit down. You would see a guy, you'd be like, oh, he looks like he's going to be good for the game, right? He sits down with $1,500, and because the rest of the table was playing so tight and so conservative and so nitty, this guy, a lot of the time, would feel like, well, I can't really get out of line because nobody else is getting out of line, right? So this, big dude from Kansas or a wild guy from Connecticut sits down, and you're like, all right, here we go. We got some action. And then he sees for 5 orbits, everybody fold, nobody say a word, nobody straddle. And he's like, well, okay, I guess that's what we do here at the 510 Bellagio. So I want to try to make the opposite for my game. And I would also recommend for you guys, if you want a splashy, wild game, you should try to be, part of that a little bit. You don't have to get in there and be super splashy, but get people talking, get people loosened up, get people having fun, maybe put a round of straddle on. Maybe get someone, get a round of drinks, something to get the table going. And I want my game to be the opposite of the Bellagio game, where all the pros are sitting there looking at their phones, not saying a word. I want my game to be fun, and as the host, I feel like an obligation to get in there and gamble it up. So yeah, that kind of explains maybe a little bit more of why I've been playing so bad lately, if that makes sense. But for me, I feel like it's okay to play not my best poker to try to help the overall status of the game. Anyway, I will be filming the 5-5 meetup game, which will be happening in a couple days. And then after that, not sure exactly what's going to be going on with the YouTube stuff. It'll be coming in on the holidays. But yeah, please like, comment, subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Until next time, I'll see you.